Welcome to this mindfulness practice designed for building the character strength of judgment. And so, before we begin, let us find ourselves that comfortable position, a position which reflects the sense of ease and comfort, but at the same time, where we are able to bring this quality of attentiveness. And so, once you feel more settled in, you may gradually start to close your eyes or lower your gaze. And then, to help us settle in the mind, let us take 3 deep, mindful breaths. So, taking a deep inhale through the nostrils, and then a gentle, gradual exhale as you let go of any thoughts or emotions. And doing this a couple of more times, just bringing awareness to the breath as it flows in and as it gently flows out. And now, when you feel more settled, gently returning to the natural rhythm of the breath. So, noticing the breath as it comes in and as it goes out. Just noting the breath for a few more moments. This natural rhythm of the breath, allowing ourselves to settle in and be completely present to this moment. And now, when you feel comfortable, bring to mind a dilemma that you faced in the recent past. Some event or circumstance where you were caught between choosing from one value or the other. Could have been about choosing being honest over being kind. It could be about choosing yourself versus somebody else. It could even be about being truthful versus being loyal to your family member or a loved one. Or it could be between choosing among a short term gain or a long term gain. So, just bringing to mind a dilemma that may have happened in the recent past, which you did come across and you made a specific decision to come out of that dilemma, one side or another. And now that you're on the other side of having resolved this dilemma, just noting what were the merits that were associated with each of the sides of the dilemma. So, what was this dilemma about? And what were the merits on taking a decision on either side of the dilemma? Just carefully making this judgment of thinking through and examining both the sides. And given that you made a particular decision, knowing how that decision turned out to be, just making this judgment based on the evidence that you have of whether you did the right thing or whether you could have done things differently. And again, remembering that judgment is not about criticism, but is about knowing both the sides and examining every point of view and weighing the evidence to have an opinion which is more informed. And so, given that you've come out of the dilemma, just making note of what you've learned, which can serve you in future similar dilemmas, what you've learned about yourself and how you feel when you take a certain decision, and also what you've learned about circumstances and other people who are involved in this situation, if there were any. And now gently letting go of thinking of this dilemma to for a few moments noticing your breath again and helping you settle down and bring yourself back to the present moment. And now briefly bring to mind a dilemma that you have in mind even today. That's something that's a dilemma that you have to resolve in the future or in the near future. It could be about having a communication or not having it. It could be about choosing one side of the argument and rejecting the other. Or it could be about being honest to someone at the risk of hurting them. Just noting whatever the dilemma is, even if it is in these categories. But whatever it is in your life which you have to resolve, and there may be two right answers in front of you. And maybe just for a minute, examining one point of view, noting in your mind the merits and the demerits of it. And now going to the other point of view and mentally noting the merits and demerits of it. And as you weigh the merits and demerits of both the point of views, just try and see if there is a sense that you get of where the evidence for doing or taking action is more. And even if you don't come with the exact right answer, that's perfectly okay. Just remembering it's about examining and bringing in the critical thinking. And once you do that, you're in a much better position to know why you're doing what you're doing. And that critical thinking is all that building the character strength of judgment is about. So even if the dilemma isn't resolved, that's okay. Just trust that the more you do this practice of examining with as much neutrality as you can both sides of the coin, the greater the strength of judgment grows and the greater it helps you in everyday life. So with that, now gently returning to the breath, letting go of any thoughts, emotions, and for a few seconds being aware only of the breath. The breath comes in and the breath goes out. And as we come to the close of this meditation session, just remembering that you can keep coming back to this practice whenever you wish to build this character strength of judgment. And so, in a few moments, a bell will ring, indicating the end of this session, at which point you can start to open your eyes and gently come back.